Next up, we got the Las Vegas Raiders heading across the country in a not only a back-to-back road spot, but a back-to-back Harbaugh spot. This is the first time we've seen a back-to-back Harbaugh spot, maybe ever. Didn't go back and actually research it. But the Ravens coming off that Thursday night loss, little mini bye. You got to think that a back-to-back Harbaugh spot is like just an absolute diabolical back-to-back road situation. All the money coming in on Baltimore laying 8.5.
Yep.
Plus 374 for the Raiders on the money line. 41.5 is the total. I mean, this feels like a little too obvious, and I'm a pro Raiders guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think the fact that
what am I missing? The Raiders shitting the bed and the Raiders playing with their food.
Well, shitting the bed. Are you talking about Lamar? He missed practice. Maybe he's under the weather again.
We do have the theory that Lamar's mom just loves cooking unhealthy shit and
something. He just has salmonella permanently in his house. Poor guy.
Maybe he's maybe he's eating.
So here's the thing. If you like an angle. Certainly, the matchup of the Raiders defensive line against the Ravens offensive line could be a nice angle for them to work. But I mean, I just love Harbaugh off a loss. He's been great week 1 and week 2 ATS 22-11 ATS in week 1 and week 2. He's very good early, and that was like, and losing in Kansas City, and obviously they were a half an inch away from pulling out. At least sending that game possibly to overtime, but it seemed like they were going to go for 2. They were in that game. Lamar is a big favorite, not great, and I could see this Raiders team backdooring. But again, a big reason why I was out on the Las Vegas Raiders this year was I think Minshew isn't dynamic enough for the offense, and I think Antonio Pierce is not a good head coach. It was the most cowardly punt since 1999. I mean, you can't talk about the Raider way and attitude and then kick field goals on 4th and 1 and punt on the opponent's 40 at 4th and 1. Just like Jim Harbaugh outcoached Antonio Pierce last week. Now you got to fly out to the East Coast and get your ass kicked by John Harbaugh. This is a tough spot for them. Minshew straight up as a dog has not been good. 16 starts, he's 1-15 straight up as a dog. Again, I think if the Raiders get this done, it's Max Crosby going off and taking advantage of that interior defensive line that we saw Chris Jones being able to pressure Lamar. But the counter is a lot of that pressure didn't end up being great for Kansas City because Lamar just scrambled a ton and racked up a decent amount of yards.
Well, I do think that Patrick Graham will have a decent game plan, but he's not going to attack. Like I do think it would have to be just a one-on-one performance from Crosby. Like he would have to wreck the game in a way that maybe isn't going to happen. Like I don't know. I know he had a tough matchup last week, but he kind of no-showed. And so I'm a little worried about Max Crosby right now. But yeah, I mean,
and that was Joe Alt. Who had a very
I think there was some
or maybe Rashawn Slater.
Yeah, I think it was mostly
Either
Slater.
way, like the Chargers tackles, and again, that's the kind of details that Harbaugh's will figure out. And you don't think Jim is passing along a couple nuggets to old John Harbaugh? Is there a little Harbaugh helping Harbaugh here?
Well, I also think it's just purely you saw what the Chargers were able to do. They leaned on him. They ran the ball, and eventually the levee broke. And why wouldn't the Ravens do that? Don't worry about the pass blocking. Just run the ball. Like you're one of you fancy yourself as one of the best running teams in the league. So how will they fuck this up? Will it be a Lamar like backward oops fumble? I just feel like we've seen this game before. Everyone's gonna play it in Survivor.
Yeah.
It's got vibes of just what could Public's all over this. What could possibly go wrong?
And I think
I'm obviously on the Ravens. I can't.
Oh, so you are on the Ravens?
Yeah. No, like you said,
you're just scaring yourself.
Oh, I'm terrified. We've bet on this game before. We've literally bet on this exact game before.
No. What's different is they're coming off a loss and long rest. If they had beaten the Kansas City Chiefs, then I would be really scared. Harbaugh doesn't lose back-to-back games, Ryan.
I agree, and they usually cover big numbers. But
Yeah.
I've just seen the game where it's a sleepy early.
It's
start
not
there
sleepy
in
because you're
Baltimore.
coming off a loss and you have extra rest. So
Well,
Harbaugh has been up their ass the entire time.
And your brother just beat this team, so,
And
yeah,
it's a horrible travel spot for the Raiders.
Yeah.
You have an early kickoff. You play a game on the West Coast, and then you have an early kickoff game in the East Coast. This is a smash spot for a reason.